Welcome guys to another video here on the Man United Daily YouTube channel, and in this one I'll be talking about the latest transfer rumours and news surrounding United. And in the first section of the video I'll be talking about the players who I believe, or the news medias believe, will be leaving Old Trafford to seek pastures new. And the first player I'm going to be talking about is Wayne Rooney. Obviously, you guys know about the bids and rejected bids from Chelsea for Wayne Rooney, and the mind games that Mourinho has been playing with the club about, Rooney having this being a World Cup year. Rooney needs to play regularly and not being a second, fiddle to Robin van Persie. But I really don't believe that sort of games, because Rooney, even though he is below par or whatever, I think he would definitely get an automatic seat on a plane for England, because our national team is a bit dire at the moment. Well, it's been dire for the last 30, 40 years, not winning anything. But again, I think Rooney is an automatic for England, so I don't think that should be the case. But again, I think the biggest disadvantage for this deal is that Rooney would be, or potentially going to our strongest challenger, going to the new season with the Mourinho factor back at there, and having a new manager, they'll obviously try to impress, and I think that would tip the balance in favour of Chelsea heavily if Rooney were to leave for Chelsea. And the latest news is that Rooney is fearing fans' backlash towards his kind of like this sort of behaviour that's been shown, and I believe that he should expect it, really, because if you are going to show this sort of disrespect to the United faithful who have been paying your wages, who's been supporting you throughout your career since you were 18 years of age to now, I think it's really hard for us to take and don't give a reaction towards him, because we did see him as a potential figurehead for the club, in the shadow of perhaps Ryan Robson, Roy Keane, Eric Cantona, Ronaldo and the likes. So Rooney, I think he could have been, he could have stayed to the club, almost a one-man club, if you like. So Rooney, I think, is bitterly disappointed how this relationship has broken down since, that eventful clash with Real Madrid back in February at Old Trafford. So Rooney hasn't been the same this season, or last season I should say. But again, I think his injuries and also the lack of form and the lack of pre-season really didn't do him any favours going into that last season. But at times he did show his quality, especially against the in a Manchester derby, where he scored 2 goals for us. So that was really a definite plus in the season that he just had. I think Rooney can play with Van Persie. I don't know why everyone thinks that United only play one striker. Rooney can have the number 10 role, but again, the push from Shinji Kagawa for that role is really high. So Rooney, if he were to stay, I think he should really put his head down and concentrate and knuckle down for the next few years and see where that takes him. If he does still believe he wants to move, then United probably don't have any choice in that saying then. But again, I think Rooney should just knuckle down and work, because right now the United fans, I believe, have every sort of advantage or ability to have the ability to criticize him for the way he's acting right now, because he doubted the club's ambitions, and when we buy a star player like Van Persie, he backs away from the challenge. So that is really disappointing in my opinion. But again, for this potential transfer to Chelsea, I would give it a 5 out of 10, because it's still very tight and in a balance, really, this transfer. It could tip either way, and in the next few days, if Rooney were to come out in one of his media outlets to say and inform the fans about his decision, then I think that could tip it in either way. So in that regard, it's 5 out of 10 because of how finely balanced this transfer is. And so we'll just have to wait and see if there's any more developments in this long running saga. The next player I'm going to be talking about is Anderson. There's been reports that Everton, David Moyes' former club, now managed by Roberto Martinez, is interested in our Brazilian playmaker Anderson. So Anderson, I believe, is still a very good player on his day. Obviously, we haven't seen a lot of him consistently because of major injury crisis over his whole United career has plagued him, and because of his obviously physical disadvantages, because every summer he just seemed to come back a bit overweight, and so it does take him a little while to get into his stride and into the new season. Anderson, surprisingly, I think his stats are really astonishing. Really, over his past few years, he's only completed 7 games, the whole 90 minutes for United. So, for a player who's playing in central midfield, that is a bit an astounding kind of like figure. Really, it's really poor. But again, that kind of like speaks about his physical problems, and I think if a solid offer comes in from Everton, I think David Moyes would be looking at the offer solidly. I believe the fee may be around, I think maybe £7 or £8 million. What do you guys think about that? If that was to be the case, and probably nearer £10 million, then I think United would be looking to sell Anderson. I think he hasn't fulfilled his potential, because if you looked at some of his old videos at Porto and even his first few seasons here at United, he was absolutely unbelievable. You thought he would be the heir to Paul Scholes from his energetic play, but also his range of passing was unbelievable. So Anderson, in that regard, I think he has really unfulfilled his massive potential. He's still relatively young for midfielder. 25 is almost coming up to his prime. So Anderson, it seems like he's been with us forever just because he's very young. He still, I think, have the ability to make it at the very top. But again, Anderson, I think his main problem is to do with his physical kind of shape. So if Anderson did have a good season this season for us, so I think anything could happen, because new manager obviously, and if he stays injury free, I know it's a kind of like repetitive statement about Anderson, but again, if he does stay injury free, gets himself into a good physical shape, then I think he could have a run in, because obviously with the absence of Paul Scholes and the uncertainty around in a new midfielder, I think Anderson could stake his place alongside Michael Carrick. So I would give this transfer a 6 out of 10, because I think the likely outcome is that if there is a solid and concrete offer from Everton and it's a good price, then I think United will sell. If not, then I think David Moyes will be happy to have Anderson as a squad player and even see him starting if he does come into good physical shape. So what do you guys think of Anderson going? I like him as a person, very bubbly person from what you can see on the media, etc. But again, he really needs to do his talking and his flair onto the pitch rather than off it. So Anderson, I hope he stays, but again, he really needs to get himself into a good physical shape for the start of the season. And the last player I want to be talking about is Chicharito. It's almost a surprise really to mention his name on this video, because Chicharito Hernandez is one of the good guys in professional football. Sir Alex has been praising him in the past few seasons about how he's a great professional, always trains hard, never minds about whether he's on bench or not. And I think that is a valuable commodity that you can't have enough in modern football, where you have a hard-working player who doesn't make any rude gestures about the team, and also the manager disrupting the dressing room. So Chicharito, and despite the fact that he doesn't make many starts, is a quality player, and his statistics, scoring wise, speaks for itself. Comfortably over double figures every season since he's joined the Reds, and last season as well, making some vital contributions. That moment at Chelsea, once again he loves Chelsea, scoring in that 3-2 win at Stamford Bridge, winning there for the first time in a very, very long time, I think a decade or so. So Chicharito, a quality player, but there has been reports that he is on the attention from Valencia, who, as you know, Roberto Soldado is going to Tottenham, so they're going to be looking for a direct replacement. And Chicharito, his goal scoring record, like I said, his professionalism speaks for itself. So that would be naturally attractive to Valencia. So this story, there's been reports that it might be for a season-long loan. I myself don't see it happening because in order to challenge for all the trophies and championship, we need 4 top-class strikers, and Chicharito is a top-class striker, albeit if he is a squad player still next season. Obviously, that depends on the injuries and the form of either Robin Van Persie or Wayne Rooney if he stays. So Chicharito, quality player, his finishing is second to none really. His poacher instincts really help him in that way, his speed. So Chicharito, I give this transfer probably a 2 out of 10. I don't really see it happening unless Valencia come in with a really solid offer of around £25 million. Then perhaps United would think about Chicharito leaving. But again, I don't think he's leaving because you need 4 top-class quality strikers in order to compete on all cups and competition. So in that regard, I don't think Chicharito will leave. But what do you guys think? Would you guys let him go for around £25 million? So leave your comment below on Chicharito. So now let's talk about the players who are potentially coming in. And the biggest transfer of the week or news stories is that, barring Bale situation, I guess, is that Cristiano Ronaldo, according to the Daily Star, which is, as you know, it's not probably the most reliable source in the world, but again, it's a news story, and they are reporting that Ronaldo is on the verge of completing an £80 million return to United, and that would be, I think that would overcast any deal for Gareth Bale, even though, the price is being talked about for that Bale transfer is extraordinary because, Ronaldo, they were talking about, the ex-president of Real Madrid, he has come out on Talksport and said that Real Madrid are actively trying to, seal the Bale deal because they in fear of Ronaldo leaving the Bernabeu. So in that regard, I think it makes business sense and also marketing sense, because if one star were to leave, then you need a direct replacement straight away. Otherwise, it will be a PR disaster for Real Madrid. So in that regard, I can see it happening in the Bale deal, obviously. But in this one, I really hard to figure out how it would be happening because obviously I don't think in the wide position is the most kind of needed player or department of the whole squad. Obviously central midfield is a big target for us at the moment with the pursuit of Cesc Fabregas, but again, Ronaldo, I don't think anyone would be unhappy to see him back at Old Trafford. There's been talks about him playing at Rio Ferdinand's testimonial, but I'm not sure about that as well. But again, Ronaldo, the fee £80 million would be the equivalent of what we sold him for to Real Madrid, 4 years ago. But again, I think if we were gonna get him for that figure and compare it to the Bale deal, I think we'll get ourselves a bargain. Yes, even at £80 million, because his record, 201 goals in 199 games for Madrid since he joined, is an extraordinary record. And if he can add 40 goals plus every single season for the next 3-4 years for United, then I think we have a very good chance of competing once again in the Champions League regularly. So if Ronaldo were to come back home, I don't think anyone will be dissatisfied. But again, I think it would still leave the burning question. Yes, he's a world superstar, game changer, match winner, whatever you like to call, but I think that would kind of defer from the real trouble area of the midfield, especially now with the absence of Paul Scholes, who's retired, and also Darren Fletcher, who is on the mend from his bowel situation, but again, I don't think you can wholly trust Darren Fletcher just because of the kind of abrasiveness of the disease, and also how disruptive it can be, not just his professional life but also his personal life. So in that regard, it's sad for Darren Fletcher, but again, the central midfield area would still be an unanswered question even if we did get Ronaldo back. So in regards to the central midfield player, another player has been linked, and this week is to do with Taider or Taider. I'm not sure how to really pronounce it, but he's a 21-year-old Algerian international. He played for the French youth teams, but currently now playing his trade in Italy for Bologna. Today, I'm not really sure. I haven't seen a lot of him. I've just seen a few YouTube clips of him this morning. And, from what I've seen, he's a tidy passer of the ball, very energetic. I think he's more of a box-to-box midfielder. He's not going to bring the most creative force to the United midfield if this transfer were to come off. The fee's been reported around 10 to 15 million pounds. Again, I have to reinforce the point that I haven't seen a lot of him, so I'm not in the most or not the best position to judge his talent. But what I've seen of him is that he's a very tidy player, very energetic, like I said, can tackle, I wouldn't say again not the most creative, but again really tidy, and so it's he's more of a can play of the anchoring role, and that's what a lot of you guys have been asking for from the United management team over the past few seasons, that we need an anchoring midfielder. But again, Taider could be the answer to that, but again, I don't think I'm the best position to judge him because I haven't seen a lot of him and also haven't seen him live. But again, he is a good prospect for the amount of money that's been talked at and for the price and the age of him. I think there's a possibility that United might investigate this deal further, but again, I think overall I don't think we will be signing him. So for this transfer, I would give this around 4 out of 10. Just I don't think he's going to come, and also I don't think it's concrete interest from United. I think it's just the agent and himself trying to draw from the interest of United in order to get more money from either his club now or in order to manufacture a move to a bigger club in Italy, trying to draw interest because of United's stature and size. So 4 out of 10 for this transfer. I think the Cesc Fabregas deal is still ongoing. It looks more and more likely that won't be happening, but again, I think it shows that we are actively pursuing someone. Obviously, everyone is very impatient, including myself, for a marquee signing or any sign of any stature. But we shouldn't get too impatient, guys, because we wouldn't want to sign anyone who's below par and who wouldn't make a valuable contribution to the team. So in that regard, I think we should wait, and good things comes to those who's wait, obviously. So, well, hopefully, fingers crossed. And yeah, so thanks for watching this video, guys. I hope you liked it. Please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel for more content, comment below on any of the transfer stories that I've been talking about today. You can follow me on Twitter at ManUnitedDaily, or visit the website ManUnitedDaily.com. You can write a post or send me a wallpaper that you made to me at ManUnitedDaily@gmail.com as well. So thanks again for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.